Someone asks brain a favor. Brain doesn't want to do it. Brain knows brain is busy. Brain knows brain is exhausted. Brain already has 17 things on the list. Brain opens its mouth and says, "Sure, of course, no problem at all." Then brain closes the door, slides down the wall, and whispers to itself, "Why does brain keep doing this?" Brain is not weak. Brain is not stupid. Brain is not a pushover. Brain is wired. And today, brain is going to explain exactly what is happening inside the brain of every person who cannot say no, and what to do before the next, "Sure, no problem," destroys what's left of brain's energy. Here's what most people think. I say yes too much because I'm nice. Wrong. Brain doesn't say yes because brain is kind. Brain says yes because brain is afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of the face. The face the other person makes when brain says no. Afraid of the silence. The awkward pause that follows when brain doesn't agree. Afraid of the label. Selfish. Difficult. Cold. Unhelpful. Brain runs a very fast calculation every time someone makes a request. Option A. Say yes. Cost. Brain's time, energy, sleep, sanity. Risk. Low. Person stays happy. Brain stays safe. Option B. Say no. Cost. Potentially nothing. Risk. Rejection. Conflict. Disapproval. Awkwardness. Brain picks option A every time. Not because it's the smart choice, because it's the safe choice. And brain has been making this choice so many times, for so many years, that it no longer even feels like a choice. It feels automatic. It feels like just who I am. But it's not who brain is. It's what brain learned to do to survive. Brain didn't develop this problem last Tuesday. Brain has been building it since childhood. When brain was small, brain learned something very important about how to be loved. Some brains learned, if I help, I get approval. If I agree, things stay calm. If I don't cause problems, people like me. So brain became the helpful one, the agreeable one, the one who never caused a scene. And it worked. People smiled. People praised brain. People said what a good brain it was. So brain kept doing it. Now brain is an adult, still running the same childhood software, still performing the same old trick. Agree, help, accommodate, shrink. Except now the stakes are higher. Now it costs brain friendships it resents, jobs it didn't want, relationships it's half in on, weekends that belong to everyone else. Brain is still chasing approval from people who never had to earn brain's yes. Let's slow it down. Someone walks up to brain and says, "Hey, can you help me this weekend?" In the 1.3 seconds that follow, brain experiences a full internal crisis. First, the gut signal. Something in brain already knows the answer. The body goes slightly tight. Energy dips. A quiet voice says, "No, please, not this." Brain hears it. Brain immediately ignores it. Second, the threat scan. Brain starts scanning the person's face. Are they expecting yes? Will they be upset? Will this damage the relationship? What will they think of me? Third, the guilt preview. Brain imagines saying no. Brain imagines the disappointment. Brain imagines being the bad guy. Fourth, the override. Brain suppresses the gut signal, overrides the honest answer, and produces the socially acceptable response. "Yeah, sure, I'll be there." And the moment brain says it, two things happen simultaneously. The other person feels relieved, and brain feels like it just swallowed something heavy. That heaviness? That is brain betraying itself. One small yes at a time. People think saying yes is free. It's not. Every yes brain gives to someone else is a no to something brain needed. Brain said yes to the extra project. Brain said no to sleeping before midnight. Brain said yes to the favor. Brain said no to the afternoon brain had planned. Brain said yes to the social event brain dreaded. Brain said no to the quiet evening brain needed to recover. Over time, brain's yes list fills up. Brain's own list empties out. And then one day, brain looks around and realizes everyone else's needs are taken care of. Brain's needs have been postponed for months, maybe years. And brain is tired. Not just physically tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that builds when brain spends too long living on everyone else's terms. There's a name for this. It's called resentment. Brain doesn't want to feel it. Brain feels it anyway. Because brain never actually wanted to do half the things brain said yes to. Brain just couldn't bear the alternative. Here is the cruelest part of all this. Brain says yes to keep the peace. Brain says yes to keep people happy. Brain says yes so people will like brain. But here's what actually happens. The people who rely on brain's yes start expecting it. They stop asking. They start assuming. Brain becomes the default helper, the always available one, the one who never says no. And if brain ever does say no, even once, suddenly brain is different. Suddenly brain is being selfish. Suddenly there's a problem, which confirms everything brain feared. Saying no breaks things. But brain missed the real lesson. The relationship was already broken. It was just held together by brain's endless supply of yes. That's not connection. That's a transaction. And brain is the one paying all the fees. Underneath all the yes saying, underneath all the overcommitting, underneath all the smiling smiling through exhaustion. Brain is afraid of one thing, not the request, not the person, not even the conflict. Brain is afraid of not being enough without the yes. If brain stops being helpful, will people still want brain around? If brain stops agreeing, will people still like brain? If brain starts having limits, will brain be seen as too much trouble? This is the real question hiding inside every uncomfortable yes. And it's a painful question, because it means brain's self-worth has been outsourced, not built inside brain, built through other people's reactions. Brain feels valuable when someone needs brain. Brain feels secure when someone approves of brain. Brain feels good when brain doesn't disappoint anyone, which means brain's entire emotional state lives in other people's hands. That's an exhausting place to live. Brain has a belief, a deeply held, rarely examined belief. Saying no is selfish. But let's look at this honestly. When brain says yes but means no, brain shows up half present. Brain does the thing with low energy. Brain does it with quiet resentment. Brain does it while thinking about everything else brain should be doing. Is that generous? Is that kind? Is that actually helpful? Or is it just the appearance of helpfulness while the real brain is somewhere else entirely? A yes that comes from fear is not a gift. It is a performance. A real yes, a free yes, is one brain can give fully, with energy, with presence, with care. And that kind of yes can only exist when brain is also allowed to say no. No is not the opposite of caring. No is what makes yes mean something. Brain cannot go from 0 to no overnight. That's not how rewiring works. But brain can start. Step 1. The pause. When someone makes a request, brain has trained itself to respond immediately, to fill the silence before it gets uncomfortable. Brain needs to stop doing that. Brain practices saying, "Let me check and get back to you. Give me a moment to think about that. I'll confirm by tomorrow." That pause is not weakness. That pause is brain giving itself the space to hear the honest answer before the social override kicks in. Step 2. Listen to the body. Before brain forms a response, brain checks in. Does the chest tighten? Does the energy drop? Does something in brain go quiet and heavy? That is data. That is brain's honest answer before the fear edits it. Brain doesn't have to obey that signal every time, but brain needs to hear it every time. Step 3. Small no's first. Brain doesn't start with the big ones. Brain doesn't suddenly cancel the huge commitment or tell the difficult person what brain really thinks. Brain starts with low-stakes no's. "No thanks, I'm good. I'll skip this one. I can't make it tonight." Every small no teaches brain's nervous system that the world doesn't end when brain declines something. That evidence builds. The fear shrinks, slowly, but it shrinks. Step 4. Short, clear, no explanation required. Brain thinks it needs a reason, a justification, a full case, something strong enough to deserve the no. Brain doesn't. "I can't do that" is a complete sentence. "That doesn't work for me" needs no footnote. "I won't be able to help with that" requires no defense. The longer brain explains, the more it sounds like an apology. The more it sounds like an apology, the more it invites negotiation. Brain says the no. Brain stops talking. Brain lets the silence exist. Step 5. Accept the discomfort. This is the part brain hates most. After saying no, brain will feel uncomfortable, guilty, anxious, worried. Brain needs to know. That feeling is not a sign that brain did something wrong. That feeling is withdrawal. Brain has been getting its emotional validation from other people's approval. When brain stops seeking that approval, the system protests. The discomfort is temporary. The relief, over time, is permanent. Brain expects the worst. Brain expects relationships to collapse. Brain expects to be seen as cold, selfish, difficult. Here's what actually happens. The people who respect brain, they stay. They adapt. They say no problem and mean it. The people who don't respect brain, they push back. They guilt trip. They act like brain owes them. And that reaction tells brain everything it needed to know about those relationships. The no does not create bad relationships. The no reveals which ones were already bad. And brain's energy, the energy that was spread thin across everyone else's requests, starts coming back. Brain has a Saturday again. Brain has evenings again. Brain has the capacity to actually help the people brain wants to help with the full energy they deserve. Brain's yes becomes worth something again. This is where brain is headed. Not a brain that never helps. Not a brain that refuses everything. Not a cold, closed off, unavailable brain. A brain that chooses. A brain that helps because it wants to, not because it's terrified not to. A brain that says yes from a full place, not from an empty, desperate, please still like me place. A brain that knows its limits and respects them the same way it would respect anyone else's. A brain that understands. Taking care of itself is not the opposite of caring for others. It is the foundation of it. Brain cannot pour from an empty container. Brain cannot give what brain has already lost. Brain cannot be genuinely present for others while quietly falling apart inside. The most generous thing brain can do is keep itself intact, so the help brain gives is real. Saying no is not a personality flaw brain needs to hide. It is a skill brain never got to practice. And like every skill, Brain can learn it. One uncomfortable, guilt-soaked, nervous, shaky no at a time. The world will not end. The people who matter will not leave. And Brain will slowly, quietly discover what it feels like to live inside a life Brain actually chose, instead of one that was quietly assigned, because Brain never said otherwise. So next time someone asks Brain for something Brain doesn't want to give, Brain pauses. Brain checks in. Brain tells the truth. And for the first time in a long time, Brain means what Brain says. If this helped Brain understand itself a little better, give this video a like. It tells Brain it's not the only one. And subscribe, so Brain never misses the next one. Brain says thanks.